Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video I want to talk about absolute basics of NFTs, what they actually are, what makes them valuable, where to find them, what do you need to actually be able to buy them, sell them, trade them. So NFTs are becoming more and more popular yet again. There was one spike in the interest in NFTs early in the year. There was another one over the summer. And then after a few weeks of relatively quiet market, in the last few weeks we started again seeing a bit more interest in NFTs. So I think it makes sense as new people are entering the space to make a video where I just talk about absolute basics. If you're completely new either to crypto overall, or maybe you are familiar with crypto but not with NFTs, this video is for you. And also there will be another couple of videos coming up later this week. Or if you're watching this video in the future, if that makes sense, then please check out my other videos on my channel. And there is a whole series of 3 videos where I talk about NFTs and then how to sell them, how to flip them for profit, and how to create your own NFT. So let's start with, well, what NFT actually is. An NFT just stands for non-fungible token, which basically is a fancy way of saying that it's unique, it's one of a kind. So if we look at Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin is fungible. It means that you can trade one Bitcoin for another Bitcoin and you have exactly same value. It's a bit like having, I don't know, a $10 bill and you can exchange it for another $10 bill and you have same amount of value. With NFTs, this is no longer the case. You cannot simply just trade one NFT for another and expect that both have same value. You can trade 2 NFTs, but both parties have to agree that actually these NFTs have the same value. It's not a default thing. So it's a bit like, let's say you have a painting. You cannot just simply trade that painting for another painting because they are not necessarily equal. They are all completely individual things with different value, different properties, and so on. And that's what NFT is in principle. It's that proof of uniqueness, but it's written in a blockchain. What some people struggle with is the whole idea with, well, why would you pay thousands or sometimes millions of dollars for a JPEG when you can literally just right click and save it for free? That's not the point of the NFT. It's not the JPEG that you're buying, but it's the NFT part of it, which is on the blockchain. So the image I have here on the screen is the Afghan girl. It's a photograph taken by Steve McCurry. You may be familiar with it. It's ended up on the cover of a National Geographic magazine quite a while back. But basically it's one of the most famous photographs ever taken and one of the most famous magazine covers ever produced. But just the fact that I have it here on my screen doesn't mean that I own it. Doesn't mean I can sell it for anything. Yes, I downloaded it off the internet, but it's just an image. I cannot claim any rights to it. It's essentially worthless, which is equivalent of just simply right click and downloading an NFT. Sure, I have a JPEG of a CryptoPunk or something else. I could maybe use it as my profile picture if I wanted to, but I don't actually own it. I cannot sell it. I cannot do anything with it. Because what makes it valuable is the actual NFT part, which you could see as its digital ID written in the blockchain. So if this photograph was actually sold by its author, Steve McCurry, as an NFT, it will be still the same JPEG, but it will be then written in the blockchain that this particular JPEG I'm purchasing is actually the original piece sold by its author. And then I can download the exactly same JPEG, but I know that there is a proof on the blockchain that this particular JPEG was transferred from the author to me. And because it's written in blockchain, well, everyone can verify it, or I can easily prove it that it's mine and it's the original piece. No one else can say, oh, but I have that as well. Well, no, because if you do, then you would have to present the proof on the blockchain that you actually have it. And if you cannot do it, then well, clearly you don't have that NFT. And the amazing thing about NFTs is that they can be absolutely anything. At the moment, they tend to be just JPEGs, usually various digital images of animals and stuff. but they can be absolutely anything. They can be short films, photographs, music pieces. They can be proof of authenticity of a pair of trainers, or a movie prop, or some other thing, literally anything. In fact, in the future, there's pretty good chance that we'll use NFTs as a proof of ownership of a house or a car. And if you will want to sell that property, you will just simply transfer that NFT on the blockchain. One amazing use case for NFTs is in video games. At the moment, you cannot easily transfer an asset from one video game to another. Let's say that you gained some particularly valuable rare weapon in one game, but for whatever reason you want to exchange it for, I don't know, a skin from another game. You cannot do it easily. You need some sort of third party to facilitate that exchange. However, with NFTs, both of those items could be represented as NFT, and you could quite easily on the blockchain exchange them. Or exchange, I don't know, the weapon for a skin and then some ether on top of that. So as metaverse becomes a thing, and certainly if you've seen Mark Zuckerberg's presentation a few weeks ago about his focus on creating a metaverse, and many other companies getting more and more interested in the idea of metaverse, NFTs are at the very basis of it. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg himself said that NFTs and crypto will form a key part of the metaverse. And whether you like him or not, or whether you like Facebook or not, is irrelevant. It just shows how important crypto and NFTs will be in the future. Because the metaverse is coming, whether someone likes it or not, whether they're interested in it or not. It's like with the internet. It will be part of everyday's life for many, most, or almost all people in, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years. So certainly investing in the technology, NFTs and blockchain, that's key element of it. Investing in it now, before it becomes this omnipresent thing, makes a lot of sense because you are in really, really early. It's like investing in various internet companies in the late 90s. So what do you need to be able to interact with NFTs? To buy them, sell them, flip them for profit, create them, and so on? Well, it's all based on the blockchain. So you cannot, at least at the moment, just simply buy them with cash, with dollars or pounds or any other currency. Although it's likely that this will be possible in not too distant future, and companies like, let's say, Coinbase are working on integrating NFTs as part of their platform. At the moment, you have to buy them or sell them usually on something like OpenSea, which basically is like an eBay for NFTs. There are other platforms like Immutable X and some other ones as well, but at the moment OpenSea is by far the most popular one. So to be able to interact with NFTs, well, first of all, you will need to create an account on a crypto exchange such as Binance or Coinbase, and you will need to buy some crypto. At the moment, vast majority of NFTs are on Ethereum blockchain, which means that in order to buy or sell them or pay any fees involved with interacting with NFTs, you have to pay for it in Ether. So you would need to buy some Ether on a crypto exchange. That Ether is then stored on in your exchange wallet, but you cannot connect that crypto exchange wallet to, let's say, OpenSea or any other website to interact with it. To be able to do it, you need something like MetaMask, which is a software wallet. There are some other options that are available, and in fact, some websites may even accept Coinbase wallet, but at the moment, MetaMask is by far the most popular one that allows you to interact with the largest number of various protocols. So for example, it may be possible that you may connect your Coinbase wallet to OpenSea, but it's definitely not possible to use that Coinbase wallet to, for example, mint a new NFT when it comes out. If you're not sure what MetaMask is or how to set it up, how to use it, you can watch one of my other videos, and I will put a link to it in the description, and I will also add it at the end of this video. So once you have your MetaMask set up, you need to transfer the ETH to your MetaMask. And then you can connect your MetaMask to a website. You simply go to OpenSea, click on this icon here, Profile, and you can see here that you can actually connect with MetaMask. Like I said, Coinbase is listed here. I personally never tried to actually use it. It may work fine on OpenSea, but then if, let's say, you go to a website that launches a new NFT project, like BearX did a couple of weeks ago, you can see that my MetaMask pops up straight away, because to be able to interact with this website during the mint, which is over now, or to claim root tokens which those NFTs produce, I need to connect with MetaMask. I can no longer do it with my Coinbase wallet. So I have my MetaMask. I transferred some ETH to my MetaMask. The next step is to initialize your MetaMask on OpenSea. This is not needed for purchases, but if you want to list your own NFT on OpenSea, you will need to do this step. Annoyingly, it's not the cheapest thing. It costs, depending on how busy the Ethereum network is, anything between around $100 to a couple hundred, maybe 300 or so. So it's worth checking when the network is not quite as busy. You can do it on a website such as the one here, Block Native. It will give you an indication of how busy the network is and what are the current gas fees. If you're not familiar with what gas is, how it works, again, I'll put a link to my video about it in the description, and I will also link it at the end of this video. So once you initialize your MetaMask on OpenSea, you can then buy, sell NFTs. You can fully interact with them. Of course, always on the Ethereum network, you have to keep in mind the fees. Essentially, any transaction on Ethereum network involves a gas fee. Those fees are sometimes quite low when, for example, you're just transferring Ether from, let's say, your crypto exchange to your MetaMask and the network is relatively quiet. But they can be quite high, potentially even into thousands of dollars. For example, when a really popular NFT project starts minting and everyone wants to jump on it, and what creates essentially a gas war, where everyone tries to increase their gas to make sure that their transaction goes through first and they secure the NFTs. Most of the time it's not quite this bad, but it's just something you always have to keep in mind on Ethereum network. So what decides on the value of NFTs? Well, it's like literally with anything else. It's all about supply and demand. And it can be quite tricky when it comes to speculation and art, and NFTs certainly can be considered a form of art, and they're certainly used for speculation as well. In some cases, it may be quite obvious why a project is particularly valuable. If we look at CryptoPunks, it was the first NFT project released in 2017, and at the time they were being given away literally for free, or just for the gas fee. Right now, in fact, there is no floor price because there are none listed for sale. They're so valuable that people don't want to sell them. But the ones that sold, they sold for literally hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. And why? Because, well, those were the first NFTs ever created. You may say that the artwork is rubbish, that you don't like it. That's fine. It's irrelevant because it doesn't take away the value from the fact that it was the first NFT ever, and there will be no other first NFT ever created. And if you look at various traits here, you can basically see various accessories that those CryptoPunks have, and various types. And if you go to types, you can see that the rarest one of them all is the alien one. There were only 9 of those out of 10,000 CryptoPunks. And so these are basically the first 9 most rare NFTs ever created. So of course they are extremely valuable. For example, this one here is sold for 600 Ether, 605. Well, Ether is currently worth over $4,000 per coin. It was around $5,000. So you can see how much value is in those, or is how much people are willing to pay for those NFTs. In other cases, it may not be quite as clear what drives the value. It may be that it has backing of some really well-known YouTuber, and of course that makes it really popular. It may be that there is some utility attached to it, which is certainly the case with many NFTs recently. You can separate NFTs into a few different categories. So for example, CryptoPunks, well, they are just those avatars. You can use them as your profile picture, but they don't really have any utility attached to them. They're extremely valuable because they were the first ones ever, but that's about it. Then you have something like the Dodge Pound, where you also get this image of a doggy, but also if you look at the roadmap, this project is continuously evolving. If you had a Dodge, you could then get Dodge Pound puppies, and you could sell those, of course, for much less than the actual Dodge Pound, but still, there were additional NFTs you got for free if you held one of those. Over time, there will be a launch pad and so on, so there's a lot of utility attached to this project. And it's also a very popular project, which means that it is valuable and it will likely remain valuable. Then you have something like Awaken, and you can get those multi-passes. And basically what Awakened is like this cyberpunk gamification. It's not a full-on game, but the idea is that each of those multi-passes evolves over time. And I think they still have another couple of weeks before they evolve to level 1. At the moment, they're all at level 0. Once they're at level 1, you can then decide whether you want to keep it for longer or whether you want to mint it. If you mint it, you will then get a character. The longer you keep it, and I think it will take up to 6 or 8 months to fully evolve, after a certain period of time, that multipass evolves to the next level. So then eventually when you mint it, you get character at a much higher level. But also, the founders of the project made sure that actually you want to mint it at some point. And they didn't quite fully explain what will be the mechanics behind it, but they don't want everyone to just wait for another half a year and just mint their fully upgraded characters. So I'm really interested in how this one will work out, but basically it's a very different concept than something like CryptoPunk. It's not just an image. In fact, at the moment it's just the opposite. It's almost like a game, not quite, but it has similar mechanics. And then you have something like Wolfgang, which was only launched about a week ago or so. And this has some really clever little game theory attached behind it, or attached to it. If you look at the white paper, you can read all about it. And I recommend reading it because it is actually quite interesting. And it just sort of shows how NFTs are evolving. To be honest, until the beginning of this year, no one was really that interested in NFTs. The volume was very, very low. And it was only from the beginning of this year things started picking up, and they are evolving at a really fast pace right now, which makes me really excited to see where it will all go in the future. And just to close this video, I wanted to show you the volume of transactions on OpenSea, so the most popular exchange for NFTs. And that volume in terms of monthly active traders, well, you can see that it was pretty much non-existent even in 2019. There were literally a couple of thousands of users. And it was same in 2020. There was hardly anything. It was only late 2020 when things started picking up a little bit, and then beginning of this year. But even during the most active month, the busiest month of this year, in the history of NFTs, which was October, you could see that there were less than 300,000 active users. 300,000 is the size of a pretty small city. If you think that there are close to 8 billion people on Earth, you can see how early we are when it comes to NFTs and how much more potential there is when this hits mainstream. When I registered my interest in Coinbase NFT account a while ago, which, as I mentioned earlier, Coinbase will release a platform for trading NFTs at some point in not too distant future. I certainly wasn't one of the first applicants, but my application was number, I think, somewhere around 2.5 million. So that already is almost 10 times more than the maximum volume on OpenSea. And of course, that's still very, very small percentage of what will happen in the future. What I described earlier, the whole process of buying Ether on the exchange, then setting up MetaMask, transferring to MetaMask, connecting it to OpenSea and so on. I think for a lot of people in the crypto space, this may be or people completely new to crypto and NFTs, this may be a little bit intimidating. Even though cryptos are quite popular at the moment, a lot of people will not really go beyond just buying them on an exchange, and that's all they are comfortable with. So while at the moment with NFTs, there are all those extra steps you have to take, I think it's really valuable to get exposure to it, because essentially you're just so far ahead of the game. It's actually quite crazy at the moment. So like I said, this video is the first one in a series of 3 videos I will create. There is another one coming in the next few days, which will be focused on flipping NFTs, so essentially buying NFTs and selling them for profit. And there will be another one where we'll be talking about creating your own NFT. So hopefully you'll find those videos interesting and helpful. If you do, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, please do leave a comment, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.